Hey y'all. So this is what I've been doing with my bike. Making some articulating skulls on my elongated sissy bar. And then I've been working on this. Actually gets lifted up a little bit. But this is kind of how the backrest on my sissy bar is going to look. We got this set up here. And then if we spin around, we got Monica's Projects bike back there. You guys will have to check out her channel on her Motorcycle Mondays that she's going to be trying to get out to kind of see more of that. But you guys actually came to listen to Les Mis. We are on the Fantine series, and we are on book 1 of Fantine, and we are on chapter, looks like 7. So let's go ahead and get started on that chapter. If you guys could like, share, and subscribe, that would be awesome. This is the proper place for an incident that we must not omit, for it clearly shows the sort of man the Bishop of Denai was. After the destruction of the band of Gaspard Besse, which had infested the gorges of Olives, one of his lieutenants, Charvat, took refuge in the mountains. He hid for some time with his bandits, the remnant of the Gaspard Besse band, in the countryside near Nice. Then made his way to the Piedmont, and suddenly reappeared in France near Barcelona. He was first seen at Geziers, then in Tours. He hid in the caverns of the Jonc des Lemons, and from the descended on the hamlets of villages by the ravines of Ubaye and Ubayette. He even pushed as far as Ibern, and one night broke into the cathedral and stripped the scarcity. His robberies devastated the countryside. The gendarmes were put on his trail, but he always got away, sometimes using armed resistance. He was a bold devil. In the midst of all this terror, the bishop made his visit to Chastelar. The mayor came to see him and urged him to turn back. Carvet held the mountains as far as L'Arche and beyond. It would be dangerous even with an escort. It would expose 3 or 4 poor gendarmes to useless danger. So then, the bishop said, I go without an escort. Don't even think of such a thing, exclaimed the mayor. I think so much of it that I absolutely refuse the escort, and I'm going to leave in an hour. To leave? To leave. Alone? Alone. Monseigneur, you must not. Up on the mountain, replied the bishop, there is a little village I haven't seen for 3 years. They are good friends of mine, kind and honest shepherds. They own 1 goat out of the 30 that they pasture. They make pretty woolen yarn of various colors, and they play their mountain tunes on small 6-holed flutes. Occasionally, they need someone to talk to them about God. What would they say of a bishop who is afraid? What would they say if I shouldn't go there? But, Monseigneur, the bandits! True enough, said the bishop. You're right. I may meet them. They, too, must need someone to tell them of God's goodness. Monseigneur, but it's a gang, a pack of wolves. Monsieur Mayor, perhaps Jesus has made me the shepherd of that very flock. Who knows the way of providence? Monseigneur, they'll rob you. I have nothing. They'll kill you. A simple old priest who passes along muttering prayers? No, no. What good would it do them? But suppose you meet them? I would ask them for alms for my poor. Monseigneur, don't go. In heaven's name, you're risking your life. Monsieur Mayor, said the bishop, I am in this world to care not for my life, but for souls. He would not be dissuaded. He set out, accompanied only by a child who offered to go as his guide. His stubbornness was the talk of the countryside, and everyone feared the outcome. He would not take his sister or Madame Glory with him. He crossed the mountain on a mule, met no one, and arrived safe and sound among his good friends, the shepherds. He spent 2 weeks there preaching, administering the holy rites, teaching and exhorting. About to leave, he decided to chant a Te Deum with ceremony. He talked with the curé about it. But what could be done? There was no episcopal furniture. They could only give him a paltry village scarcity with a few old robes of worn-out damask, trimmed with fake braid. No matter, said the bishop. Monsieur le curé, at the sermon announce our Te Deum. It will take care of itself. All the nearby churches were searched, but the collective finery of these humble parishes could not have suitably clothed a single cathedral choir member. While they were trying to figure out a way to fix this, a large chest was delivered to the priest's house and left for the bishop by 2 unknown horsemen, who immediately rode away. The chest was opened. It contained a cape of gold cloth, a mitre decorated with diamonds, an archbishop's cross, a magnificent crozier, all the pontifical remnant stolen a month before from the treasury of Notre Dame in Bern. In the chest was a paper with these words: Carvet to Monseigneur Bennevue. I said that it would take care of itself, said the bishop. Then he added with a smile, to him who has contended with the curé's surplus, God sends an archbishop's cope. Your lordship, murmured the curé with a shake of his head and a smile. God or the devil? The bishop trained his eyes on the curé and replied with authority, God. On his way back to Chalestar, all along the road, the people came to see him out of curiosity. At the priest's residence of Chalestar, he found Mademoiselle Baptiste and Madame Glory waiting for him. And he said to his sister, Well, wasn't I right? The poor priest went to those poor mountaineers with empty hands. He returns with hands filled. I went forth placing my trust in God alone. I bring back the treasures of a cathedral. In the evening before going to bed, he added, Have no fear of robbers or murderers. They are external dangers, petty dangers. We should fear ourselves. Prejudice are the real robbers, vices the real murderers. The great dangers are within us. Why worry what threatens our heads or our purses? Let us think instead of what threatens our souls. Then, turning to his sister, My sister, a priest must never take any precaution against a neighbor. What his neighbor does, God permits. Let us confine ourselves to prayer when we feel danger looming. Pray not for ourselves, but that our brother not fall into crime because of us. Such events were rare in his life. We repeat those we know of, but his life was usually spent doing the same things at the same hours. A month of his year was like an hour of his day. As to what became of the treasures of the Cathedral of Imbrum, questions on that point would embarrass us. They were fine things, certainly, very tempting, and very good to steal for the benefit of the unfortunate. Stolen they already were by others. Half the work was done. It only remained to change the course of the theft, to turn it to the benefit of the poor. We say nothing more on the subject, except that among the bishop's papers was found a rather obscure note, possibly connected with this affair, which reads as follows: "The question is whether this ought to be returned to the cathedral or to the hospital." So that's kind of interesting how he gave everything to God, and he kind of just went at it and decided to go up amongst these brigands, amongst these evil people, and still came away with quite a load full of stuff. Anyway, would you guys be able to go where you thought your God or your divine leader or whatever told you to go? I don't know. I mean, that would be a hard thing to do. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Stay tuned for more chapters, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful, and blessed day.